Hi folks, and thank you for watching this short video. Just want to go over the new spreadsheet I've created for the upcoming Boeing 757-200 Rolls-Royce freighter. This was a bit of a challenge because weight is everything in a freighter, as you can well imagine. And I wanted to do it in a way that it would automatically calculate the station loads depending on distance of your flight, and obviously we don't want to exceed maximum takeoff weight. So I want to go over this a little bit, and hopefully it'll make it easier for newer users to understand. In this column here are the standard loads for the 757. Now when you're adjusting your station loads, if you have to reduce them, we mainly concentrate on the main deck. We do have a lower deck and the aft cargo deck included here, but normally these don't change. The reason for that is we want to keep the center of gravity of the aircraft as close to the ground as possible. So it's only the main deck pallets that are going to change if they need to change at all. The only cell here that you can actually make a change to, because everything is locked, is the distance to destination. And you can look this up either, there's a website where you can look it up, or you can look it up in FS Navigator. Either way, you just plug in the nautical miles from where you are to where you're going. And the basic fuel requirement, that's just a baseline. It's never really used per se. You would never take off without a reserve. So I put that there as a baseline in order to calculate the other two. And then you have your 1 hour reserve and a 2 hour reserve. And those are percentages of maximum capacity per tank. You'll notice in the red here, fuel percentages are per tank, not total volume. Once you add your fuel, let's say it's a 1 hour reserve and you've added 69.4% per tank. You get down here and you look at your 1 hour reserve, and you'll notice that that puts you over maximum takeoff weight. Maximum takeoff weight is 255,000 pounds, and you're 687 pounds over that. So we need to reduce the cargo weight by 687 pounds. You'll notice over here under the 1 hour reserve, those stations are adjusted for you for the main cargo deck. The lower cargo deck remains unchanged. It never changes. But the main cargo deck, 14 stations, they are automatically adjusted for you. Now, if hypothetically you were making a trip that required a 2 hour reserve, you would need 83.4% of the capacity for each tank. And that obviously adds more weight. You can see the difference in the weight here. For a 1 hour reserve, total fuel for a 2 hour reserve is significantly higher. Now, over here is your 2 hour reserve, and you'll notice here we're 11,263 pounds overweight. We're exceeding the maximum takeoff weight, and this is dynamic. It changes to yellow when you're at or over, and it's kind of a tip-off that you need to make a change when you see the yellow here. Just as an example, if I was to reduce this, say, to 1,000 nautical miles, you'll notice that this turns white. That's because you don't need to make any changes to your station loads. You're under maximum takeoff weight, no need to make any adjustments. As soon as you go over your maximum takeoff weight, it turns yellow, shows that you're overweight, and you need to make the necessary changes. Now, 17,276 divided by 14 stations can get a little tricky to figure out because you want to maintain your center of gravity line, which is right here. And being the nice guy that I am, some will argue with that, but anyway, I've included the adjustments for you. So you'll notice the forward stations up to station 6 are a little heavier than the aft stations, and that's by design. You want a little bit more weight bias towards the front of the aircraft. Again, the lower deck does not change at all. That's static, and that will never change. Now, one thing I want to make an emphasis on. Flight Sim 2004 is, 24 years old now, give or take. And when they made this, they didn't allow for decimal points on the station loads. So this could hypothetically be 3521.4. And you do that over 14 stations, and this number could be out a bit. So you might find after you go through the numbers that you might be out by about 30 pounds or so, 25, 30 pounds versus what shows in the simulator. And if that's the case, you just take that weight off the last station because you always want to be biased towards the nose of the aircraft. This is the tail of the aircraft. Station 14 is in the aft part of the aircraft, and that's where you would want to reduce any extra weight that you need to. That's the only manual adjustment you'll need to make, and that's done in the simulator, not on the spreadsheet. That's very important. Another thing I want to mention about the 757-200 is the changeover from airspeed to Mach speed. Very important in the 757-200 because it has a significant difference between cruise speed, which is typically Mach 0.80, to maximum obtainable speed, which is around Mach 0.86, but you never go that high because you need fuel like a sieve. That said, if you don't change your max speed at flight level 280, you're going to find out that when you get to your cruising altitude of, say, flight level 340, for example, you're going to be overspeeding. So keep that in mind when you're passing through the flight level 280 mark, that you need to change over to the Mach speed. Otherwise, you're going to get a warning that you're overspeeding. I hope that clears things up a little bit. This is by no means finished. I might have to tweak it a little bit, but generally speaking, you just put in your distance to destination, and you look down here. If it's yellow, then you got to come over here and look at your station loads, make the necessary changes from the defaults, which are these, to whether it's a 1 hour reserve or a 2 hour reserve. And that will get you within the ballpark of where you need to be to make maximum takeoff weight. You might have to adjust it, like I said, 25, 30 pounds, give or take, depending on the amount of rounding that happens in the simulator. We don't have the ability to add decimal places to the station loads. That wasn't factored in when they designed Flight Sim 2004. And the same, to some extent, goes for fuel. Although they allow for decimal points, the decimal points could be more than 1 decimal point, and it'll round it off. So that, again, will contribute to the overall weight of the aircraft. And you might notice this number down here is a little bit different than what you see in the simulator. So that's the spreadsheet for the freighter. I hope that clears things up a lot, and just keep an eye out for red and yellow down here because that means a bad thing and requires attention. Thank you for joining, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. If I can't find the answer, I'll find it for you. Have a pleasant day and enjoy your flight.